Google. Let's go get them again.
What's going on, fragrance family? Welcome to my top 20 warm scents in 2022 as per my base notes account. So I do have proof in these choices. I'm not just going willy-nilly on which ones I've worn the most. And it's going to surprise me as much as it's going to surprise you, I think, on some of the choices. But keep in mind, the most worn scents may not be the most exclusive, harder to find, darker scents. It's really pretty much, I wouldn't be surprised if this is full of very versatile scents, because most worn would make sense. Now, first of all, before I get into the list, to give you perspective on this list, first of all, my collection, it's well over 1,000 bottles. I lost count after, I stopped counting after 1,000. That was several years ago. I have at least over 1,000 samples. I haven't counted them, but I have like a whole dresser, and I mean like dressers full of samples and decants. Keep in mind, I try to log them as much as I can on base notes, so it's not that accurate, to be quite honest. You know, I'm not logging every single thing I wear. I don't log things that I am actually just testing. Like I may be testing 2 or 3 scents in the morning for something like that. I shower, then I log my scent of the day, something I'm going to be wearing all day, and maybe a scent of the night. So usually you're going to get I log like a scent of the day, scent of the night. That's pretty much it. The rest of the testing and stuff like that aren't logged. So my numbers aren't huge here. So this isn't a true list, but it's fun to see what I was wearing over the year. I was actually, when I logged into base notes and they showed me my list, I was like actually kind of surprised on some of them. I was just like, really? I wore that fragrance that much this year? Really? Some newbies, like fragrances that I purchased maybe halfway throughout the year, made this top 20 list, which is kind of surprising. I kept this list as true as I could from what base notes said. I'm not trying to inflate the numbers of more interesting scents to make my channel more legit. This is what it is. I wear what I wear, and there's some surprising ones that I'm like, do I like that much? So it's going to be an interesting list to see where the numbers lie and where this journey took me this year. Trust me, you're going to be surprised with many on this list, just as I was. So let's get started. At number 20, it is from Vilhelm Parfumerie, and this is a new bottle in my collection. Funny enough, or not funny enough, I have a sampling samples on this particular fragrance on my channel that's coming up this weekend, actually. I got the sample before I got the bottle. I actually split this bottle way back when, like way before my channel went away. And I really wanted to do, the sampling samples was ready to go years ago, but I still have that little vial and a little bit left to finish off the sampling samples. So this is Mango Skin, and this is my favorite from the brand. This one did not surprise me, honestly, this year. It's a newer scent in my collection, but it is by far the best mango-based fragrance I've smelt in my journey. I had to get a bottle of it years ago. Mango, blackcurrant centric up top, with some florals backing this particular fragrance. For men out there thinking, oh, this might be more of a fruity floral fragrance for women out there, perfect for a woman, honestly, yes. But if you aren't scared of fruity scents like me, you're going to love this one. If you like quality scents, you're going to be just like me. You're going to love this one. Highly recommended for me, Mango Skin. Get a sample if you have to. But the sampling samples video is going to come out shortly on my channel. And I'll give you some of my thoughts off a sample of it. But it is bottle worthy because I got a bottle. At number 19, it is a designer fragrance. You can see actually a lot of designer fragrances. What can I say? A lot of them are very versatile. And this is the OG La Nuit de L'Homme from Yves Saint Laurent. The OG, I still have my original bottle from the launch of this release. So I'm sure this bottle is probably worth over $300 now. And no, I won't be selling it. It's one of my favorites from YSL. I always loved this cardamom heavy scent, lavender and some woods back in it. It's dark, it's beautiful, it's easy to wear. A classic in the designer game now, yeah, and I think it's one of the best modern designer releases. Yeah, a great one, La Nuit de L'Homme. Not a surprise I wore this one often in 2022. Going next, again, staying in the designer realm and staying with YSL. This one was a surprise. At number 18, it is L'Homme Parfum Intense from YSL. Now this one caught me by surprise. I didn't think this one was in the rotation at all, let alone being one of my most worn scents in 2022. This is the kind of scent a reviewer would remove from a list like this because it's not hyped, it's not new, it's not flashy, and it's not really commonly known as one of the better designer scents from YSL. But I'm not going to change my list. I actually do really like this one. I should review this one. I believe this one is actually discontinued from the brand at the rate that they release flankers for L'Homme and La Nuit de L'Homme. I'm not surprised that it's actually discontinued. It steals from the original, but it's much sweeter. It has an ambery glow to it that I absolutely love. And I think that's what really sets it apart for me, is that it really has that sweetness that I absolutely like. Easy to wear, just a straight up solid designer release. Now going with the brand of Hermes, and this one right here, not surprising that it's in the list at number 17, is Ambre Narguile from Hermes and their upper echelon Hermes Essence line. The one surprise is this isn't top 5 in my list. Where have you been? Like, I've been wearing the crap out of you, actually. But I recently purchased a backup bottle for this particular release. This is my original, so it's kind of low. I got another one that's full, which I love. And it makes me want to wear this one more often now that I don't have to kind of go a little lighter on the sprays because my bottle was getting low. Now I can wear it more often. This could be, and I think is my favorite darker scent from Jean-Claude Ellena. This apple pie in a bottle. It's a favorite from that scent profile. There's nothing that does it better. And this scent in the fall and winter is a winner in my books and will most likely make this list next year. I absolutely love this scent. At number 16, no surprise here, it is a favorite for me in the spring, and this is Green Irish Tweed from Creed. Green Irish Tweed making the list makes all kinds of sense to me. This is almost a signature scent for me in the spring and summer. So if you follow my list, you know that this one is heavily worn. It's almost number 1 every single year in my spring list, honestly. So if you ask me where to start with the brand of Creed, it's right here with the black bottle. Signature scent, worthy scent, easy to wear. And that's the name of the game with these kind of most worn scents list. They should be versatile scents. If they're not, again, it's a signature scent for you. That's great. And I do have some daring scents here and there in this list, but it's making a lot of sense here. A lot of versatility in this list. At number 16, Green Irish Tweed. At number 15, from the house of Dior. Dior has 1, 2, 3, 4 in this list. So a huge contender as being the most worn brand of the year for me. Christian Dior's Fahrenheit. Of course, an 80s baby. Again, I'm all over the place with this list. And Fahrenheit, oh, am I surprised that this made the list? Not really. I love Fahrenheit and also love all its flankers. And that's the thing. When I reach for a Fahrenheit fragrance, sometimes I go, okay, I want that one. I want this one. So it's kind of funny that the OG makes the list, and it makes all kind of sense, actually. I wear this one in every season. I don't put a sticker on a season for this one. Easy to throw on, can be a signature scent for anybody. Timeless, absolutely beautiful, highly recommended for me, Fahrenheit from the house of Christian Dior. At number 14, it is from another huge house, and this is Guerlain's Pamplelune. And I'm like, Pamplelune made the list at number 14. It is the first Guerlain in this list. It will be the only one on this list, which is actually surprising because I got a lot of favorites from the house of Guerlain. Surprising that there's not more from this brand on this list. Yes. Also surprised that this is the one that I wore the most. Kind of. Not that Pamplelune isn't a great scent, but it's what most reviewers or people consider the more pedestrian line of the Guerlain lineup. I love Pamplelune as I consider it the best grapefruit in the game, honestly. And I guess the wearings this year kind of prove it that I absolutely love this one on how good it is. Pamplelune, a great scent at number 14. At number 13, a new bottle to me from MFK, and this is A Piece of Me pour Homme. And yes, you saw this scent in my unicorn video that I purchased back in 2022. Yes, this is a most worn fragrance that I purchased this year, which is good. It looks good for this scent. That means I like it. Looks like I'm getting to know APOM really well this year, and why not? It's an outstanding scent, and I understand why it received such a huge hype back in 2010, 2011 on the tube. Love that I finally have this bottle in my collection, and it makes sense that the amount of wearings that I'm wearing it this year, a new bottle, it should get its wearings, don't you think? So at number 13, APOM. At number 12, a brand that I absolutely love, DS&Durga, is a brand, I should compile a list of the most purchased from certain brands, because Durga would be, at least in the past 2 years, I've purchased tons of bottles from this brand. And this is Ambre Kiso, which is my favorite from the brand. Look at the dark juice. And this is surprising, but not surprising. This is probably the first daring scent in this list. Honestly, yeah, there's a lot of safeness over there. So finally a darker scent on the list. I was kind of getting worried that I was getting to be a little softy in a 2022, but Ambre Kiso kind of saves my bum here, and it's a bomb of a release. It's a great daring scent. Excellent overall. Let's open this up. Oh, yeah, this is absolutely gorgeous. Ambre Kiso from the House of Durga. If I had to recommend 1-2 scent heads that love daring scents from this brand, that would be the first one that I would recommend. Ambre Kiso, stud. At number 12. At number 11, let's go back to MFK, and this is Absolue pour le Soir. Talking about daring, darker scents. Here, the animalic Absolue pour le Soir. No surprise here on the wearings of MFK was the brand of the year for me in 2022. And zero surprises that this brand has 2 in my top 20 list. And we do have another one in the top 10. So we're going to get 3 in total. So this is definitely my favorite one, if not my favorite brand of the year. And this one, Absolue pour le Soir, wasn't the 2022 purchase from me. I've been looking for this thing for years. I think I bought it last year in 2021, and it was a steal of a grab because I absolutely love that one. Absolue pour le Soir at number 11. Now let's go in the top 10. And this starts with the House of Tom Ford. Kind of not surprised that there's a Tom Ford release in this one, but this one actually is the star of the brand. That's where it all started with Me Tobacco Vanille. Yeah, it just makes sense to have a beautiful Tom Ford release in this top 10. Tobacco Vanille is just an easy to wear scent. It's just classic, really. Talking about backup bottles, I did get a backup bottle of TV this year since my original bottle was getting low. So now this particular fragrance is getting a little more wearings now that I have another bottle in my collection so I can spray more. Tobacco Vanille, absolutely gorgeous release at number 10. At number 9, it is from Bond Number 9. Not one of my favorite brands, to be quite honest, but they have this thing called New Haarlem, and they re-released this fragrance this year. Good on them, because I believe, personally for me, it's the best release from the brand. And speaking about classics, this list is starting to kind of look like a list that I made back in 2010, like a top 20 list, because you got Tobacco Vanille, that feels like 2010. You got Green Irish Tweed, Narguile, Fahrenheit, La Nuit de L'Homme, New Haarlem. This feels like old school Fragcom. Now, New Haarlem is one of the best gourmands of all time. Also got a backup bottle of this stuff this year too, because I wanted to wear it more often, which looks like I did this year. You know, this bottle's half full. Excellent scent, breakfast in a bottle, best of the brand. At number 8, it is from Etat Libre d'Orange, and this is I Am Trash. This was my most worn last year, as per base notes. I remember posting this on my Facebook group, and surprise, surprise, it's still in my top 10 this year. This is an excellent scent that I did receive some hype years ago because of free bottles on YouTube, and I'm always wary of these free bottle hypes. And with free bottles becomes silence after a month on a particular release. Sadly, that's the way this YouTube game works. I haven't heard any reviewer talk about this stuff anymore since they all got their free bottles, but Good news is that you're going to hear it on my channel. I absolutely love this scent. It is top 10 worthy. One of the better scents from a brand that I feel has several outstanding releases, but I Am Trash is a excellent, excellent release from Etat Libre d'Orange. At number 7, it is from Dior, and this is Eau Noire, another fragrance that you know that I purchased if you checked out my unicorn list. I purchased this year, another new bottle, and quite frankly, not surprising that it got this high. I love this scent. I've been wearing it quite a bit this winter. It's performing really well on me, and I love that they re-released this release because it's worth to have more noses on this release. One of the best of the brand of Dior, Eau Noire, at number 7 of my most worn list. At number 6, we have the last MFK, and this is Ciel de Gum. Purchased this year, I think almost mid-year. So interesting that I made the top 6. MFK, brand of the year, of course, and this is another new purchase that received so many wearings this fall and winter. It's nice to see a fragrance this high on the list when I didn't have it for the full year. It means I really like it. So this one, Ciel de Gum, highly recommended from me. I can't wait to delve more into it over the years, but this first year with it, absolutely love it. At number 6. So let's go top 5 dead or alive, and this one right here is from Serge. This is Chergui. Chergui, again, another 2010 YouTube gem. New Haarlem, Tobacco Vanille, Narguile, La Nuit de L'Homme. It seems I'm stuck in the past with my releases on my list. Chergui has always been a top scent for me. One of my favorites of all time. Should be in a list like this. I'm happy that it's at number 5. When I saw my list, I'm like, yep, Chergui should be there. It's a star. I also got a backup bottle. I didn't talk about that, but I did get a backup bottle. This is my original bottle. It's getting almost lower than the sticker, which scared the hell out of me. And Chergui, for 50 ml bottles, you can find new bottles for around $100 Canadian, which is nothing for a scent like that. It's an absolutely stunning fragrance. At number 5, Chergui. At number 4, from the house of Mugler, and this is Angel Men. Amen. Talking about old school scents, old school designer scents. Going back in the day, this fragrance right here. I don't wear this thing hardly, if at all, during one whole season. During the summer, usually this thing collects dust. So for this fragrance to be so high on this list and not really getting any wearings during the months of summer should mean something to anybody watching this video. Once fall hits, I wear Amen and a lot of its flankers like crazy. I absolutely miss the DNA. And you're going to get, I usually get several wearings out of the whole line right away in the fall because I absolutely love the DNA of that particular release. Amen, a great release. At number 4. Number 3, probably the surprise of the year on this list. You know, there's some that are surprising, but you know, a lot of these I'm like, yeah, it makes sense. You know, probably the most surprising one before this would probably be the YSL L'Homme one, which is probably the one that kind of looks like it shouldn't be in this list. But this one right here, I was like, really? From the house of Dior, and this is Vanilla Diorama. And I'm like, what? At number 3? It's a new purchase. I purchased it this year. And honestly, a huge surprise at number 3. I would have never guessed that this one would make this list. Now, I love my Dior releases. And honestly, if I have to make a top 10 list from my whole Dior collection, I'd be hard pressed to put this in the list, honestly. It's just an easy to wear vanilla. Like, I love my vanilla based scents. This one is so easy to wear. I don't know if I just reached out for it more often than the others, but there's a lot better scents. I'd say more my taste, but they're a little more daring, I guess. But Vanilla Diorama, I'm not gonna, you know, the numbers don't lie. And it's there. So I gotta say it, Vanilla Diorama at number 3. At number 2, it is from the Vagabond Prince, and this is Enchanted Forest. Again, a lot of fragrances, probably 3 or 4 from my unicorn list here. So any new subscribers are like, this guy's already recycling fragrances. I'm sorry, but this is the way it is. And again, with my my collection, you usually don't see much repeat, but Enchanted Forest, another fragrance that I purchased the backup bottle in 2022. Lucky me, because I was running low. and conserving my last few sprays. And I think once I got this, this new bottle as a backup, I was like, okay, now I can finally start wearing this more often. And it's a great release. And at number 2, it makes sense. Enchanted Forest, a great release from a brand that we don't really hear from. Now, number 1, my most worn fragrance of 2022. I know the year's not over. I'm sure I got a couple more days in me, and maybe this list would have changed depending if I used one of my top 10s. Number 1 could have changed. I think it was just 1 or 2 wearings between a few of them. But at number 1 this year, surprising, not really. It is a designer release, and it's from Dior, and this is DHI, Dior Intense. A designer scent making it number 1. Am I surprised? Kind of. DHI has always been a top tier designer release for me, but I never thought that it would reach number 1 on a list like this. A great scent. Definitely worthy of the number 1 spot. And it is my most worn scent of 2022, and why not? I'm okay with that. This is an excellent designer release. I love it. At number 1, Dior Intense. The House of Dior honestly gets a lot of flack. They changed their nose recently from Demeschi to Francis, and they're getting a lot of flack within the community, and I really think that it is still a premier brand and still going for the crown. I think Chanel is slipping. Pudge, what are you doing? Beer de Chanel, get that stuff out of here. And Dior, get Sauvage out of there while you're at it. But their high-end line, Dior, as you can tell, with Eau Noire and Vanilla Diorama in my top 20 list. I love the brand. I don't care what anybody else says. It's my nose, it's my collection, it's my channel. So Dior, probably the most worn brand. I would probably put, what was the other one? MFK probably as secondary. Because I got several in this list from both brands. Now that you've seen my list, I'd love to see what your top scents were in 2022. Maybe you use a website like I do, or a spreadsheet, or whatever. If you're a fragrance nerd, you may have numbers with them. But I'd love to see what fragrance that you wore the most in 2022. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.